Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the week again, and we are nearing the end of my entire read-through series, like mini-series, of me going through Kaiju number 8. I see you, Hybrid. I see you, Shoto Todoroki. Shoto, I hope life has been treating you well. It's good to see you once again. Let's begin, shall we? Yo, peoples! KAIJU92 here, and welcome back to yet another live reading of Kaiju number 8. Let me pace myself because I did a whole bunch of running around just now. Just got out of the shower. Feeling all nice and clean. Hair washed too. Don't worry, this is going to get shaved. But it's good to see all of you again. Last we left out on, all of the Dai Kaiju have been completely subdued. Not only that, but 9 encroached, and yes, I say the word encroached on Mina and managed to grab her and proceeded to go through the process of trying to absorb her, because that turns out to be number 9's goal the entire time, was to not go after Kafka, but to go after Mina, whose accuracy was beyond anything humanly possible. So I'm honestly not quite caught up on the manga. We're currently going to be going through chapters 106 to 113. After that will be pretty much, 113 to 1 something else, 114 to 1 something else, and then after that is going to be all the way until like the end. Because let me just check on the list real quick, just to show you how many sessions we have left. Also, if you're not this far in the manga, then I hate to spoil anything for you. But after 113, it'll be, I've been doing these in intervals of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have one more major reading after this one, which will be next Monday. And then the Monday after that, which will be the 26th of May, will be my final major read-through of Kaiju number 8. And then the series will move to Thursdays, because that's when the chapters actually drop. But getting back to the actual story itself, Kafka manages to rescue Mina, even after number 9 said that no person in recorded history has ever escaped his absorption. And we see that number 9 has hundreds, if not thousands, of kaiju within its own body, to the point where anyone who has tried to escape has been basically engulfed by one or more of these kaiju in an attempt to basically steal their memories, steal their capabilities, and no one has managed to escape number 9's grasp when it tries to absorb someone. Not even Director General Isao was able to escape from this. However, due to the help and sudden reinforcements of the 3rd Division of the JDF, Ichikawa, Iharu, Haruichi, Aoi, everyone managed to come in and give Kafka an opening that allowed him to not only make Mina the very first person in number 9's history to avoid being absorbed by him, but also manages to get her to safety and proceeds to square off against number 9 using the Defense Force style combat technique that General Isao was best known for. So it's going to be interesting to see how both Kafka and number 9 clash, because Kafka is locking in. Let's begin, shall we? So moving on to chapter... Wait, I said the right chapter number, right? Yeah, chapter 106. Let's see. Hold on, let's pull it up. And then we get Kafka, who's going... And he's in his kaiju form going, I finally managed to make it here because of everyone's help. I will take him down! And number 9 is just thinking, wondering where Kafka suddenly got all of this power from, going, what is this? And it shows 9 actually going on the defensive to block a punch from Kafka. And then we cut back to Hoshina, Vice Captain Hoshina, who was talking to Kafka going, Squadron style combat technique, the same style that was perfected by Isao Shinomiya. And it cuts to the children, those two kids, both of the one that was saved by Kafka at the beginning of the series, and another that was saved by Mina. They're both holding each other's hands as Kafka is being televised as he clashes with number 9. The same style that was perfected by Isao Shinomiya. And 9 is bracing as Kafka hits number 9 so hard that a shockwave impacts on the building behind him. That's how much force Kafka put into that punch. And everyone's looking. The science team, Itami, and everyone else, the higher-ups, they're all watching. And after that happens, it seems like number 9 is sent kind of reeling from this attack and manages to right himself as both he and Kafka start exchanging blows, the force of which is just whipping up debris all around them. It's just that big of a shockwave. You want a good comparison? Look at Superman versus Zod in the Man of Steel movie, where their punches are sending shockwaves all over the place. It's essentially like that. And then they stop punching, and then all that built up power all that power they built up just trying to hit each other, it's quiet. And then the building next to them completely gets obliterated by the aftershock of their clash. To the point where an entire cross-section gets almost obliterated from the force of this. Then Itami chimes in. Hold on. There we go. So that way I can keep chat up. Then Itami chimes in. The city isn't going to hold. Yeah, and they're just exchanging blows. We're being forced to reckon with how fragile civilization actually is. This is a clash between two identified class KAIJU. And all we see is just number 9 just blocking and bracing from all the blows of Kafka. Not even once do we see Kafka putting his arm up yet to brace for a blow from 9. 9 is the one on the defensive right now. Told you, Kafka locking in. And we just see blow after blow after blow hitting number 9 as it's bracing itself. And number 9 is just looking after, and we see that these hits are actually doing something to number 9. He's not just bracing himself. It's actually doing damage because we see the sinew of muscle underneath his arm. And the science team goes, he's overpowering him! He can do this! He can do this! And then the other higher up that's next to Itami, whose name escapes me, all the time goes, no, that's not it. Number 9's hardly taken any damage. During that signal hijack earlier, that thing clearly made reference to having access to Isao's memories. That would mean he knows about Isao's combat technique. And then 9 just goes, I know that technique. And then it takes both of his hands and clashes them together. Which website can I read on? I am reading from the official Viz site. That's where I'm reading from. That's where I always read these types of manga from. But just looking up Kaiju number 8, chapter 106 will probably bring you a whole bunch of lists. But I always try to go by the official place for them. But that's where I'm reading it from. I know that technique. And then it clashes its fists together and then makes a growth on top of its arms akin to the numbers weapon that Isao used to use. And they hit each other and they crackle, and it shows 9 try and hit Kafka, which causes Kafka to have to brace himself and him get blown back from that attack. He got knocked back after all. Squadron style combat technique number 2. Force blast! And it shows Kafka and number 9 use the same force blast. Force blast. They both use the same techniques against each other, but it's Kafka who's starting to suffer damage. We see his arm bleeding after doing that. It's useless. We may be using the same move, but when it comes to sheer power, I'll beat you. And then the other higher up with the eye patch goes, He's getting read like a book. Number 9 knows the combat style, squadron style combat technique. In the source of their info is the person who has the most intimate knowledge of the squadron style combat technique. Its strongest practitioner, Isao Shinomiya. And it shows number 9's face, while it also shows Isao's face underneath number 9's, just showing you that the one individual who has greater knowledge than Kafka on how the squadron technique goes and all of its weaknesses and all of its strengths is the one that has been absorbed by number 9 itself. And then we get one of the science team going, Yo, Don T! What is going on? Welcome. I'm currently reading through chapters 106 of Kaiju number 8, and then we're going to go all the way to chapters 113, and that'll be it for this session. But Kafka's currently clashing with number 9, and number 9 is starting to use some combat techniques from the squadron-style combat technique of Isao. In the source of their info is the person who has the most intimate knowledge of the squadron-style combat technique. Its strongest practitioner, Isao Shinomiya. And then one of the science team goes, There's nothing he can do against a threat of this caliber. Too bad. You stayed well within my expectations. And then Kafka can only look as number 9 proceeds to punch Kafka with enough force to basically blow back everything behind him. And while that's happening, the child that was saved by Kafka at the beginning of the series goes, Mister! And then we go to a flashback with Kafka and Hoshina. The Hoshina-style combat technique? Yeah, it's essentially a high-guarded secret. They're inherited techniques passed down only to members of the Hoshina family. I'm gonna be drilling the original combat technique into you, but as long as number 9 has Director General Shinomiya assimilated, you ought to assume that going head-to-head with the with the squadron-style combat technique won't work. Nope. Hoshina taught him a counter to the... Oh, I love Hoshina. He taught him a counter to the squadron style. We're going to use the fact that he knows what cards we're holding against him. We're going to evolve the squadron style combat technique by incorporating elements of the Hoshina style. Evolve? Don't tell this to anyone. If number 9 were to assimilate someone who knows, then he'd find out. Don't mention a word of this to the other officers, not even the upper brass. That includes Captain Ashiro. Yes, sir. Kafka, let's go. Let's go surpass Isao Shinomiya. And then he figured out a counter! He figured out a counter! And then it shows Kafka bracing, much to the shock of number 9. Squadron style combat technique number 4. Yeah, and I know that one too. And while number 9 tries to emulate what Kafka's about to do, what? Kafka's whole body stance is completely different than what Isao was doing for number 3 of the squadron style, which is confusing 9 because he doesn't know what that movement is. What? That's not the movement I know. Sink your body in an extended stride and twist into a spiral to add force. Number 3, variant. Modified Twin Blast! And instead of it being Twin Blast like this, Kafka spins his body and alters it, causing it to land directly on 9, who was not prepared for a variation of the squadron style. And that's where we end with chapter 106 onwards past this illustration chapter on 106.1, even though these are some good illustrations. Kafka, Ichikawa, Kikoru, Okonogi, Ashiro, Haruichi, Iharu, Aoi, Hoshina, Bako, everyone. These are nice images. These are nice images. I like these. Chapter 107. Let's keep going. Modified Twin Blast! Kaiju number 8, chapter 107. And all we see is just a gigantic shockwave from the point of impact, pretty much bigger than what number 9 just did to Kafka. And we see that Kafka has left a hole in number 9's chest and has also taken off his arm. And everyone is shocked because then number 9 goes flying after that attack and lands in a small crater on the ground, and everyone is just dumbfounded like, huh? And then the dude with the eye patch, whose name continues to escape me and probably will until someone tells me, when is the next Wuthering Waves stream? I mean, I suppose I can do one before I get started on Doom the Dark Ages, so we could I don't have anything scheduled for tomorrow, so we can actually work on Wuthering Waves tomorrow and try and do some companion quests, and also check out some of the other things that they have as well. I tried rolling for Zani, but I did not get Zani. I recorded it, but I did not get Zani, so I didn't think it was worth me uploading my polls. I did manage to get that 5-star pistol from like the, basic weapon tier, but I didn't get Zani, so I was like, oh well. At least I can work on Cantarella. But dude with the eye patch goes, that man has evolved Cell's technique. He landed a clean hit on the core region! Kaiju number 9 is seriously damaged! Did he do it? We still can't pick up any vital readings! And then all the citizens are looking. All the citizens are looking with the kid that was saved by Kafka going, amazing! Mister did it! And then Kafka goes, not yet. Something about that hit felt off. And we zoom into number 9, who has apparently created a personal shield, the same one we've seen him create around himself. He's created a personal shield around his core, which means that what Kafka did almost worked to the point where he needed to put a shield around his body to protect himself. An inner shield? It compressed the shield to its limit to protect its core? In that case, before it can regenerate, I'll hit it one more time. And then it shows number 9 just laying there, and then it abruptly gets up, opens its mouth, and appears to just instantly blast Kafka. And there's an explosion while Kafka is bracing himself from like the big old torrent of debris. Just one more strike. I need to use my detection ability to determine his location. So, the last obstacle standing in my way is you, isn't it? And it shows that number 9 has blitzed Kafka. Yo, Ramil! I am here! It's good to see you, Ramil. I hope your day has been good thus far. But it shows number 9 has already appeared directly next to Kafka. And it looks like he just straight up wallops Kafka all of a sudden and just embeds him into the ground. Number 8. You seem to be a former human. Between defeating my masterpieces. And while number 9 is saying this, his arm starts to bulk up even more. And the unplanned interference by the compatible user for number 6. Once again, you all have deviated far from my expectations. And now it's Kafka who's on the defensive. That's the reason why I said earlier on that Kafka was only on the offensive and not the defensive as of yet. Because I knew something like this was going to happen. Once again, you all have deviated far from my expectations.
I really, really find learning about humans so fun.
And then it shows Kafka still bracing, while number 9 continues with this little insane tirade.
Studying them, dissecting them, eating them.
And Kafka, his knee opens up. No, his knee doesn't open up. The bottom of his heel opens up, and he jets away from number 9 before a solid hit can land.
Studying them, dissecting them, eating them. The more I learn about them, the more I evolve.
But then, while Kafka's jumping away, he suddenly gets grabbed by number 9's tail.
They mask their biological weaknesses with wisdom. Rule over this planet by way of tools and rules.
And while he yanks Kafka towards him, he then proceeds to clothesline Kafka. And Kafka's eyes go white. Blood shoots out of his mouth as number 9 continues the villain monologue.
And even though there's no benefit to it, they sacrifice themselves for the sake of others and share with those weaker than them. They are truly deranged creatures.
And then grabs Kafka's face and I bit my tongue again. Grabs Kafka's face and goes,
I want to learn more.
Wow, and we just get a double spread panel of just all of number 9's thoughts on the matter.
What is this love that humans talk about incessantly? Why do they all dress the same? I want to know. What is friendship? How is it different from love? What is this justice that humans brandish when they attack others? Why do they live with animals if they're not even eating them? What is religion? Why do they cry when they're happy or sad? I want to know. Why do their personalities differ in real life versus on the internet?
No one knows.
What is envy? What is jealousy? What is society? Law? God? What would happen if plant kaiju infected human brains?
You get The Last of Us. Let's avoid The Last of Us Part 2, shall we?
By linking multiple humans in a row.
This dude does not need to be on the internet. Why did he learn about Human Centipede?
I want to know, can you turn humans into kaiju if you expose them to fault energy? In fact, what would happen if I left the brain and made them a parasite?
These are all the thoughts that 9 is vocalizing.
I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. So I'll take everything.
And it shows what the world would look like if all of his curiosities came to pass. People with kaiju growing out of their bodies, taking over their brains, rotting their bodies from the inside out. Kaiju and growths all over the city, all over the world. This is what number 9 desires.
I want to know, so I'll take everything. Can you see it?
And mind you, he's latching onto Kafka, and Kafka is seeing his thoughts.
Can you see it? Human bodies, human culture, human everything turned into a seed bed. That's the kaiju world I'm striving for.
And Kafka just thinks,
I have to beat this monster right here and now.
And then Kafka's elbow opens up as he just screams,
Screw you! Like heck, I'll let you make a world like that!
And when it shows that Kafka tries to punch 9, 9 has caught his fist. and just does his trademark.
Ah, your attack earlier was interesting. You've clearly grown.
And it shows 9 is starting to change its body.
I can feel number 2's presence, and it's strong. Now, it's my turn to show you how much I've grown.
And it looks like number 9 has manifested Kaiju number 2 through its body, created a whole second head, and what appears to be extra arms behind it. Not only that, but it appears that number 9 has also grown significantly in size. Yo, that voice suits 9? Well, thank you, Hybrid.
I love using this voice. Reminds me of Cell during the Cell saga. So I figured, why not make him as creepy as possible?
So yeah, I like doing this voice for number 9. It's fun. But
now, it's my turn to show you how much I've grown.
And like I said, Kaiju number 2 has manifested in number 9 on number 9's body and he's grown in size. Onwards to chapter 108. Let's see what happens. We got a whole bunch of chapters left before this section is done. Kaiju number 8, chapter 108.
Now, it's my turn to show you how much I've grown.
Number 9 is shapeshifting again! And Kafka's eyes are widened as number 9 punches the ground so hard it destroys everything around it. And in the process, not only is that so incredibly strong, Kafka loses his left arm in the process. Just instantly loses the arm.
His attack power at close range is unreal. It's like taking a hit from Director General Shinomiya.
And while Kafka's in the air, still airborne, mind you, reeling from this, number 9 has created gigantic growths that start to encroach on Kafka. And apparently it's the same properties as his finger guns that number 9 has been known to use, and it envelops the entire city street that they're fighting on. And it shows that Kafka just lost a leg.
This time it's number 9's attack. He's a different beast from before. I'm in trouble whether I'm gaining or losing distance. It's as if I'm taking on number 9 and number 2 at the same time.
And mind you, Kafka managed to regrow his leg back, and it looks like he's regrown his arm as well. And number 9 goes in to try and punch Kafka, but Kafka dodges.
Number 1 modified. Barrage Blast!
And he manages to land a solid hit on number 9's arm.
The variants work, but you've used another move I haven't encountered. I've learned it.
But here's the thing. While number 9 is saying that he's learned the technique, it shows number 9 is still bleeding from the mouth, so these techniques are actually working against him, but it's kind of bad because he's already adapting.
The variants work, but using them plays right into his hand. I need to settle this in one shot, otherwise he'll come to learn my entire arsenal. Show me more.
And then number 9 proceeds to just start going toe-to-toe with Kafka once again.
But I need to use them to endure his assault. Number 4, modified. Rising Blast!
Lands another hit on number 9, which causes him not only to spit out blood, but also, cough out some teeth as well.
You have more? How thrilling. He's going to extract everything at this rate.
And then we get Okanogi chiming in.
This is bad. Number 9 is gradually adapting to him. It's only a matter of time before he finds out of before he runs out of
And then Hoshina chimes in.
That ain't the only problem. It's been over 30 minutes since Kafka transformed into number 8.
Oh, right. the longer Kafka spends in his kaiju form, the more of his body starts to become permanently kaijufied. Because remember, the doctor back then says, we've observed a correlation between his transformation time and his body's kaijuification. If he were to remain in a transformed state for an extended period or have his body taken over again, then Kafka Hibino's body will. And we cut back to the present, where Hoshino just says, he won't be able to revert back to his human form. And then we get cut back to Kafka, who goes,
the others made sure I got here. I can't afford to lose, no matter what!
And then Kafka continues to fight.
I just need to one-shot his core. One shot!
And before Kafka can really go in straight towards his core, number 9 just straight up instant transmissions away from Kafka.
I see. You've run out of new moves. Number 6. Thunder Emperor.
And it shows number 9 crackling with energy. Crackling with energy all of a sudden. And then hits Kafka so hard, it makes Kafka's chest basically just open up, exposing Kafka's core. And in that same instance, without a moment's hesitation, number 9 goes for the core and just goes,
checkmate.
And then it cuts to Kafka, who's surprised by this, dude with the eye patch going, oh no, number 9 is going to destroy his core. And number 9, not trying to yank out the core, starts to crush Kafka's very own core.
Too bad. I guess this is the end.
And then Kafka, bleeding from the mouth, just goes,
no, not yet, number 9.
And we cut to a young Kafka and a young Mina overlooking all the destruction back when they were kids. And then all of a sudden, we see Kafka's mask breaking. And we see the human side underneath parts of Kafka's kaiju face going,
because I've got the ultimate childhood friend!
And then all of a sudden, we get number 9's arm being blown off by someone apparently shooting it. Shocking 9, not shocking Kafka, as 9 goes,
ah,
and then immediately gets blasted. Did he save Tiger Girl? Yes, Designs, he saved her, but that was back in the last reading I did last week. Mina saved, and not only is Mina saved, from these panels, 9 just goes,
ah,
and then an explosion causes number 9's body to get tossed aside, and then blown far into the distance. And then someone starts to step towards Kafka going,
you've been like this since we were kids. You always run off into danger on your own.
You really do pack a wallop.
As the smoke clears and we see that Mina has recovered enough for her to save Kafka this time. They saved each other. Kafka saved Mina, severing her from the absorption of 9, and Mina saved Kafka, saving him from having his core destroyed. And then we cut back to a young Kafka in the flashback going,
don't worry.
And then we see Mina's, tired face with, shadows over her eyes. And Mina going,
good thing you've got me by your side.
And mind you, this shot came from a pistol. Remember, she's deadly with just weaponry, with just straight up artillery. She's dangerous. She's the most powerful soldier in all of the JDF who's the best with long-range weapons. And she did that with a pistol. So, Mina just saved Kafka in chapter 108. Let's move on to 109. I can't wait to see what happens next. And now we have a flashback. We're back to... This story really loves flashbacks. Like, we get tons of these things all the time. Not saying it's a bad thing. It's just that it's often that we get flashbacks all the time. But now we have a flashback of a young Mina and a young Kafka, with Mina going,
Hey, Kafka? What kind of officer do you want to be? Well, I'm gonna wear a snazzy combat suit with an unleashed combat power of 99%, the greatest in history. Also, I'll be a master blade wielder and the strongest sharpshooter around.
Mind you, we already have people like this in the present. Lofty aspirations this dude has, huh?
I'll have a 10,000 kaiju kill count, and I'll be the first in the captain popularity polls for 10 years straight.
And Mina, just done with him already, goes,
Nice super OP creating officer you dreamt up there. You're such a child. Say what? Then tell me yours! I want to save a lot of lives. The citizens, the officers, the citizens, the pets. No one will die on any mission I'm on. That's the sort of officer I want to be.
And Kafka is just silent, and then he goes,
No deaths? That's kinda unrealistic, don't you think? What do you know about being realistic?
and then Mina's getting mad and upset, but he's all like,
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's make it happen. The two of us can make it happen for sure.
And then, of course, we get the panel where Kafka sees himself with Mina standing side by side with her, like all those years ago, like he's always dreamed up, as Kafka sits there looking at Mina, who basically just saved his life. Kaiju number 8, chapter 109. I'm actually surprised. I'm actually kind of glad that they don't have names for these chapters. Makes it easier on me, so I don't... it makes it easier on me overall. But Mina's standing there looking at Kafka. They're both looking at each other, and they both stand side by side. And then Kafka goes,
Mina.
Liar. You said you would catch right up. You said you would catch up right away. I thought you'd never make it.
Sorry.
Then there's back on the rooftop. Even then you didn't rely on my aid. You were trying to handle things on your own, weren't you?
Yeah, but Ichikawa helped me realize that wasn't going to work.
Uh-huh. Ichikawa, you say? Sure.
Sorry. Not only did I get here late, but the person I am now isn't the one I expected.
and mind you, Mina looks at Kafka and also gets reminded of how number 9 put her through basically a nightmare in an attempt to absorb her and make her lose herself within consciousness.
I haven't been able to become the adult I aim to be either. Even so, we have to keep moving forward.
And then from the place where number 9 landed after being shot by Mina, number 9 gets back up. And then Kafka slaps his face, and goes,
Here he comes.
Yeah. Kafka, thank you for being by my side.
And then we have Mina just smiling. A wholesome moment before these two lock in. And Kafka's eyes just kind of widen. And he's thinking back to how he used to act around Mina.
An unleashed combat power of 99%. Being a master blade wielder. Being the strongest sharpshooter around.
Oh, wait. This is Kafka thinking, adult Kafka thinking this.
An unleashed combat power of 99%. Being a master blade wielder. Being the strongest sharpshooter around. None of my childhood dreams came true. All I've got left. When that time comes, I'll be right there by your side.
And then,
all I've got left.
Let's go.
Yeah. Is this promise.
And they both stand. Wow. So we have a modern day real depiction of the thought of Kafka standing next to Mina against a strong kaiju. The one that they're standing against in the present day is 9. And they're both going,
Let's wipe out the kaiju together!
They both say this, but I just mixed both of their voices together. And that's the end of chapter 109, onwards to 110. We're making significant progress. 3 more chapters after this one, and then we can call this reading to a close. Let me make sure that I haven't missed out on anything on chat, because you know how YouTube on mobile can be sometimes. But yeah, we're good. Kaiju number 8, chapter 110.
Let's wipe out the kaiju together!
All right.
Let's do it!
And it shows 9 standing in front of both Mina and Kafka. And they both go,
Now neutralizing!
Kaiju number 9.
and everyone hears this. Kafka and Mina fighting side by side. Ooh! Hoshina hears this, Itami and all the higher-ups hear it, the children that were rescued by both Kafka and Mina, all the science teams, and they immediately go to town. As number 9 starts using his own innate abilities and tries shooting Kafka, and they both disappear from sight. Kafka's fine. And it cuts to back. It cuts a little mini flashback. It's only 2 panels. Well, it's only a couple panels with Kafka going,
I still have 2 techniques he doesn't know about. If I can hit his core before he figures them out, then we win. But if I can't, then...
And I guess Kafka says something more to Mina, but she just goes,
Got it. I'll provide covering fire and strip away his shield. Kafka, put everything you've got into hitting that core.
As we cut back to the present, and Kafka's preparing to punch number 9 again. And we see another clash as 9 starts to use its arms to try and shoot Kafka, but his arms get shot off by Mina. And then 9 starts unloading fire towards Mina with his other arms, and she's just dodging them. And while that side of number 9 is distracted, Kafka goes for the other side and lands another hit, showing that number 9, I think, purposefully exposed its arm just so Kafka can be distracted and think that he hit it, only for number 9 to open up its mouth to try and fire where Kafka is, and even try to hit him with his tail. Then, all of a sudden, both of them get launched backwards. They both get launched backwards, but it's also making it so that Kafka can't get in too close. With Okanogi going,
Amazing! His support fire is not only absurdly powerful, but also incredibly precise!
Then another member of the science team goes, Her approach now compared to when she teamed up with Vice Captain Hoshino is like night and day. We're witnessing a completely different side of her. Mina has 100% locked in. Then we get Eye Patch Dude going,
Having support changes things. He can use techniques he's already revealed now. Using that momentum and force your way... Use that momentum and force your way through.
As it cuts to Kafka, who's bearing down on number 9 again. And then it cuts, and it shows that number 9 is about to do that shockwave attack that took off Kafka's arm again. This reading, number 2's shockwave is coming! And Kafka just stomps into the ground and launches into the air. Because as number 9 basically causes his body to implode, Kafka jumps high into the air to avoid the range of the shockwave, and then comes back down to land a heavy kaiju kick. A kaiju kick. I'm calling it a kaiju kick. Just lands a kaiju kick directly on 9. He dodged it. Number 9 isn't the only one learning. And then 9 tries to land a kick in the direction of Kafka, landing a shockwave kick towards him, but Kafka dodges. And then Itami goes, He experienced that in the fight with Isao too. And then all of a sudden, we see these orbs popping up all around number 9's tail. Kafka sees it, Itami notices, and then number 9 sweeps its tail in the direction of Kafka, and the whole area just gets enveloped by an explosion. Like it's capable of creating energy on its tail and then throwing it out, causing explosions. And Mina gets blown back and Kafka has to brace himself. That wasn't one of number 9's or number 2's. We have no data on that attack. Number 9 is housing several abilities in one body. And this cuts back to when Mina realizes, oh, number 9 is using the abilities of the hundreds of kaiju, with hundreds upon thousands of kaiju that are embedded in, that are in number 9's body. And then Mina chimes in.
Kafka, there were countless kaiju inside of number 9. I don't know what that thing was, but tread carefully. He's still got tricks up his sleeve.
And it shows another panel of number 9 using both of its heads and arms to defend itself from both Kafka and Mina at the same time. This is a very strong opponent, okay?
Push through! Push through!
Push through!
And it shows number 9 looking, and all of a sudden, in an instant, Kafka and Mina get launched instantly by number 9. We don't even see the thing happen. All we see in the previous page is just number 9's face, and then we just see Kafka and Mina getting thrown into walls. We didn't see anything happen. They just got hit. Kafka gets physically pushed into a wall while Mina gets thrown into a wall so hard it leaves a crater, and she's already bleeding. She's already bleeding. They're both bleeding from the mouth right now. They're both hurt. So number 9 engorged its arm to physically punch Kafka, and then 9 basically shot Mina point blank with numerous shots, launching her into a wall. And that same kid that was saved by Kafka is just looking with tears in his eyes as number 9 is standing there, smoke coming out of both of its mouths. And then Eyepatch just goes,
They can't reach it!
And Itami goes,
Not even number 8 and Ashido's powers combined are enough.
and all the people are just watching the greatest hope of humanity being tossed around by number 9. They're all out of options. And then it cuts to Kafka, who starts speaking, because he's fine.
Yeah, that makes sense, number 9.
What?
You're the same kaiju that Captain Nanami and I couldn't lay a scratch on back then.
And then it cuts back to Hoshina going,
Don't tell this to anyone else. That includes Captain Ashido.
The combat techniques were our ace in the hole. I couldn't even tell Mina about them. But this is something I searched for on my own, that I kept secret from even Vice Captain Hoshina, and an ace even deeper in the hole.
because this is back when apparently Kafka, was he training with Narumi? I think he was training with Narumi because it shows Kafka inside this training room, and the whole place is just filled with craters all over.
Kill. 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 I can control it for 1 minute. I know. You want to kill, right? I'm gonna set you free.
And no. His ace in the hole is letting his kaiju side take over. Remember, Isao was having a tough time. This is like Kafka's about to go full on hollowed Vastolord de Ichigo. He's about to let the kaiju side take over as we see the veins start to move up Kafka's face.
I know. You want to kill, right? I'm gonna set you free. So give me your strength!
And then we see Kafka's body become even more kaiju-like in an instant as his kaiju mouth opens wide and his eyes wide over. And that is chapter 1 that's the end of chapter 110. Let's move on to chapter 111. Let's see what happens. Kaiju number 8, chapter 111. And while this is happening, Kaiju's body starts changing into the exact same form that everyone saw before that almost killed Isao. This instance kind of reminds me of what happened when Naruto went 4 tails and just manhandled Orochimaru like Orochimaru was nothing. But everyone notices this form. Mina notices, the science team, even Itami remembers it. That form, I remember it. And then we have yet another flashback. We have yet another flashback. As we cut back to Nanami, he goes, "You want me to help you with secret training?" "Yes, sir. The power of Berserk number 8 when I fought against the Director General was intense. If I could use that as an ace in the hole, then I think it considerably raise my chances against number 9. Oh ho. You dare go straight to a captain like you're truly yours truly for favor? A rank and file soldier officer like you? You've gotten a little too big for your britches, haven't you? Haven't you? I'm aware of how absurdly presumptuous this is, sir, but I assure you, this is a favor I can only ask of you, Captain Narume. Hanami then lightens up because not only is he leaning towards Kafka, but he's standing on one of the benches at the top of the roof, so he's looking down on him and leaning over, so it's kind of comical the way he looks here. This is a favor I can only ask of you, Captain Narume. Fine then. There just so happens to be something I wanted to test in live combat myself. I assume you're fully prepared to accept the risk of never being able to revert to human form. And mind you, Narume looks at Kafka, but you notice that his, well, you guys can't notice because you can't see, but his eyes go like that of Kaiju number 1, like his eyes light up. You're gonna have to fight for your future. Oh no, wait, this is Hoshina going, you're gonna have to fight for your future. And then Kafka goes, not having to use it would have been the best outcome. And Kafka, his power just he goes full berserk, and not only does let's just go with berserk number 9. We're just gonna go with berserk Kafka. Berserk Kafka roars, and Mina goes, "Don't do it, Kaf!" And before she can even finish the sentence, number 8's arm that was enveloping number 9's arm that was enveloping Kafka gets completely shredded. Much to the shock of number 9. And then someone calls in and goes, and it's Kafka going, Mina, I can control it for 1 minute. There's no time to lose. Back me up. As it shows Kafka he's gonna have control for a full minute, but he's under the influence of the berserk state right now. And Mina's shocked to see Kafka in this state. And Kafka's smiling.
I can't stop him. It's frustrating. But the only thing I can do right now is support his resolve.
And then Kafka, just standing in the spot where 9 launched him, is standing there, and then it all of a sudden is directly in front of number 9. Akin to how Luffy was a far distance from Lucci, but then proceeded to be directly in front of his face, or how Toji was a far distance from that old lady during the Shibuya incident, and then just instantly was next to her in that instance. Instant teleportation, just right there in front of 9, and hits 9. And debris flies up in the air, quietly. Then, the entire block. This is even greater than number 9's punch that he used against Kafka before. The entire area, I want to say several blocks just get obliterated. Buildings get blown apart. The whole place just implodes like a cruise missile just came down. And it shows Kafka is the same size as number 9 and is taking it to him. And while he's punching, it also shows Kafka's face in his mindscape. You know, veins all over, bleeding from the mouth. And Kafka goes in with a punch so fast that he lands another hit on 9, and it completely obliterates the ground beneath him. Then Kafka opens his mouth and prepares to blast 9. And blasts him straight into the ground even further. And Mina's watching this all go down, going,
providing cover fire and leading the threat to number 14's drop point.
Number 14's drop point?
Roger.
And then Mina starts opening fire on number 9. Yeah, opens fire on number 9. And number 9, I want to say without looking, basically knocks away these shots from Mina, just backhands them, though not without a consequence, because his arm is kind of messed up from just blocking that. And above number 9 is Kafka, and Kafka just goes in even further. And it just shows them all over the city just trying to hit each other, with Kafka just maintaining his ground.
I have 2 techniques left in reserve.
And they both start clashing. And Kafka's just staring, his blank berserker state. His berserker state's just staring into the eyes of 9, with 9 going,
Ah, interesting.
And this is number 9 thinking to himself,
destructive power against kaiju, an annoying force that cripples our regeneration rate. Given his ability, he's like a kaiju meant to kill other kaiju. Now that it's uncovered, it's all clear.
And then 9 speaks with blood on his face.
Number 8. You were that sort of being all along, huh?
And then they clash, and it's just a hit landing next to each other over and over and over again. And they land in another section of the city. Science team goes, they've reached the drop point.
It's about 40 seconds since I've unleashed my power. All the pieces are in place.
And Kafka has apparently led number 9 directly back to number 14, the very same kaiju that was used to teleport number 9 directly to Mina. They, for some reason, led 9 back to this. Pardon me. That ultimate salsa, egg, and cheese biscuit is still giving me the burps a little bit. Sorry about that. And number 9 notices.
This is where...
And before 9 can really focus on where he is, Kafka's directly next to him going,
first, variant number 5, modified spiral blast!
And in the same instance, while Kafka punches one of the arms off of 9, he spins around and manages to break the leg of 9 while it's distracted.
Mina!
And then it shows, ooh, Mina. They led 9 back to the point where he teleported in, so Mina could get her cannon. They led 9 back so she could get her hand on her cannon again.
That's right. Lying on the ground at number 14's drop point was... Mina Ashido's main weapon!
And it shows Mina standing there, brimming with combat power, preparing to fire her cannon directly on 9. And that's the end of chapter 111. Onwards to chapter 112. We're almost done, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost done.
Lying on the ground at number 14's drop point was...
And it shows Mina brandishing her giant cannon. Science team going, 1 magazine left! Both barrel and unit organ are clear and ready to fire!
Mina Ashido's main weapon!
Why is there fuzz trying to be on my bottom lip? I hate it when that happens. It's always a thin thread that tries to hold on.
Mina Ashido's main weapon!
And then Mina fires. and the whole area, not just where she's standing, but also the path of the bullet just displaces everything. The force is so strong, it's literally breaking the ground as the bullet travels. Then 9 tries to put its shield up, and it puts up the shield, but the shield gets destroyed from the hit.
Mina Ashido's gunfire is meant to shatter my shield. To ensure that the remaining variant moves destroy my core. Well done. But...
And while 9's chest is exposed from this, it puts another shield over its core to protect itself. And 9 looks like it's smiling over the fact that it has a personal shield to protect itself.
A shield? There's one more? Between himself and number 2, he can put up 2 shields! It will have regenerated in time for me to endure your strike. I win. Can I strike through it? Shield and all? Either way, I've gotta do it!
Then all of a sudden, something happens to 9. And it's like a pulse hits 9, and it's not from Kafka. And this confuses 9.
What's this?
Oh, and number 2. Kaiju number 2 starts to dissipate and just disappear from 9's body.
What's this? My control over number 2.
Oh. Isao with Isao. I thought he was gone. He's still here. He's still there. Within 9, I thought he was gone. Isao is the reason why 9 just lost control of number 2. Isao within 9 is restricting that from him. Because it shows number 9 in the mindscape, but Isao in the power of Kaiju number 2, he's just all like, no, you don't. He doesn't say that though, but it's like, ah!
He still has that much strength and awareness.
And it shows the face of Isao bleeding as he's resisting being taken over by 9, even embedded in his body like this. And 9 can only watch as this mindscape version of Isao collapses onto his body, and the shield around his core is now exposed. Kafka sees this, and we start to see Isao's face appear on number 9. Kafka sees this while number 9 tries to grow more limbs in order to basically just barrage Kafka with shots in a vain attempt to stop him. And all we get is just a giant explosion of 9 doing its best to try and keep Kafka from getting close, but not before all of its arms get blown off by Mina, and Kafka bearing down on number 9, landing in front of him and preparing to land one last hit. But then we get some energy crackling in front of number 9, and I can't tell if this is Kafka's energy or if this is number 9's energy, and he's about to unleash a shockwave again. Oh, it's Kafka.
Variant number 6.
And 9 can't really move as Kafka is going into overdrive.
Just how many of my expectations are humans going to surpass? Modified Thunder Emperor!
And Kafka lands a full double-fisted blow. Well, he puts his fists up the same way Yamamoto used soul coats against Wanda Weiss. Just in front of number 9. But we don't get any cracking from his core. his core just straight up starts to open. And Kafka blasts a clear hole directly through number 9, destroying everything behind him. I'm not even going to say like, oh, he just whips up everything behind him. No, everything just gets straight up obliterated from this close range, double-fisted 1-inch punch. And that's how we end chapter 112. Onwards to chapter 113, and the last chapter for this reading. And Kafka standing there after having blasted a clear hole straight through number 9. And we see the core of number 9 just shattered and in pieces. And Kafka's looking, well, it's heavily cracked, but Kafka's looking as he's thinking, it's cracked. And then we get number 9. We get number 9 who's bleeding heavily from the mouth. We get the 2 children saved by Mina and Kafka, and we get Mina. And we get the science team going, it's a clean hit! Number 9's core has been damaged! This is the end! And then we get number 9 speaking.
Kaiju number 8. Let's have a little chat.
And when that happens, it looks like number 9 starts to drag Kafka's arms into its chest. And then all of a sudden, Kafka's standing in Edo period Japan. Oh, he's about to show number 9 all of its memories. He's about to show Kafka. Number 9 is about to show Kafka all of its memories from the past. Kafka's suddenly in Edo period Japan, like just ancient Japan. We see samurai dead all over the place.
What? A battlefield? Is this inside number 9? Where did he go?
And he looks down on the ground, and he sees a samurai's mask just on the ground.
This mask looks familiar.
And then he spins around, and he sees what appears to be a younger, smaller number 9. I'm not even going to really call it a child 9, but it's just a smaller version of 9, just like a chibi size.
Number 9.
Ah, at first, I thought it was a coincidence that you showed up in front of me. But I knew once I sensed the one inside you that this was a stroke of fate from a long, long time ago.
What are you even talking about?
Does this sight not look familiar?
Like I said, what are you talking about?
I see. So, you're not deeply linked just yet. To think you're still able to exert that much power looks like your grudge from back then was intense.
I'm sorry, grudge? Grudge?
What are you friggin' bubbling about? So I still haven't beaten you, huh? One more hit ought to be enough to...
No, you win. It won't be long before I disappear. My hopes are dashed. You and I have fought, and you have won, Kafka Hibino. I really enjoyed myself. You humans surpassed one expectation after another, and thoroughly crushed my plans. I wanted to know more. I wanted to research more, and get closer to humans. I admit defeat.
Stop lying.
I'm not lying. I've run out of options.
You are lying. If you're not lying, then what is that?
And we get someone going,
Kill. What's that coming out of your body? What are those things?
and we see 9, but we also see all the kaiju apparently that it has in its body starting to make its way out of its body. And then we get the creature that's inside of Kafka as it's reacting negatively to this. Like it's getting riled up and it's screaming, kill, 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 kill. Why is it reacting this way?
This really is disappointing. My core being destroyed has upset my equilibrium. I will be reduced to a beast that only destroys.
And then it cuts back to Mina going,
There were countless kaiju inside of number 9.
is this what Mina was talking about? What the heck are you? And then we cut back to the present. We cut back, well, not to the present, but I think we're still in the mindscape with Kafka as the world around him starts to erupt in this mindscape. Like the equilibrium of 9 is off, and now apparently all of the kaiju that are inside of him are about to, I guess, be unleashed or something. And the whole world is starting to change.
What did humans used to call this again? If I recall, it was me. May. That's right.
As the mindscape of number 9 is starting to crumble away, we get a mountain that's starting to break in front of Kafka, and 9 is going,
That's right. The KAIJU of the Meireki era.
and we see this giant kaiju, which is an amalgamation of all the countless kaiju that were inside of 9, are now erupting out of 9. And as Kafka's looking, he recognizes where he saw that samurai mask from. It was from the samurai he saw in front of him back at the Hoshina shrine when Hoshina was training him all those chapters ago. He recognizes the mask. And then we see Mina, who's looking horrified. We see Mina who's looking horrified as she goes, Ka. And we see Kafka in his berserker state, bleeding from the mouth. Sorry for that enunciation. Bleeding from the mouth, as it shows that number 9's body, and apparently all the kaiju within him, has apparently impaled Kafka through the chest. As Mina can only scream out,
Kafka!
and that is the end of chapter 13. Okay, this is bad. So with number 9 gone, his core destroyed, all of the kaiju that he kept subdued in his own body is now running rampant, and they've all decided to take Kafka. Because Kafka's still in his berserker state, and he's been impaled by 9. Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That got dark quickly? Yes, it did. It did. We got a little bit of history from number 9 saying that the KAIJU that's inside of 9 is the KAIJU for the Meireki era. And now it's about to come out of 9. But that's going to be it. That's going to be it for this entire reading of Kaiju number 8. We only got we do have 2 more readings. One more next week on Monday, and then the last day will be on the 26th of May, which will be me fully catching up to the series, and like I said, it moves to Thursday. So I've almost fully caught up with Kaiju number 8. But this series, getting good. Getting very good. But this is where I'm going to have to draw it to a close, because 1, I took a lot longer than I originally thought, and it's getting closer to the start time of me playing some more Death Stranding, which means in order to compensate for me eating lunch, I'm probably going to push it back to possibly 2:30 or maybe 3 o'clock, so that way I can have plenty of time to eat before I get started, so that way I can at least have a down period for you guys before we get back on Death Stranding. But this was a very good series of chapters. Join me next time, same time on Monday next week, as we pick up with the next series of chapters. And then on the 26th, that's when we're done. But this was a good chapter. I mean, good series of chapters. This was a good reading. So many good moments. But now things are starting to get serious. And like you said, Shoto, things have gotten dark very quickly. Thank you, Shoto, Designs, Hybrid, Ramil, everyone who tuned in here today. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. So have a fantastic day. And once again, it was good to read this with you. You should end it off with a Go Beyond Plus Ultra. I would, but this isn't My Hero Academia. I just end it like normal. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm always looking forward to entertaining you, and because I know you're coming back anyway. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, okay, later, peoples. Go Beyond Plus Ultra! There you go.